Hey, it's Mr. Barr here for Driver's Ed. Yesterday we looked at Chapter 1, Driving and Mobility. We looked at what you gain from Driver's Ed, what kind of experience you lack driving at dangerous times, how the highway transportation system was created, set up, and how it's evolved, who regulates it, some risk in driving, keep your vehicle in good condition, defensive drive, wear your safety belt, costs involved in crashing, operating a vehicle. You should have done the Chapter 1 questions, and today we're working on Chapter 2. Chapter 2 deals with administrative and traffic laws. First section is administrative laws, getting your license. We talked about the whole process you're currently going through. If you didn't want to get your license prior to age 18, you wouldn't have to take this course. But even nowadays, you would still have to take a course. It's just not as in-depth as the course you're currently in. Then they talked about getting your license suspended, revoked, some point systems. Certificate of title proves that you legally own the vehicle. Registration is what you get every year, and it shows who is responsible for operating the vehicle. And insurance is a financial responsibility for driving the vehicle. Right-of-way rules are something that we've talked about in the past, and the thing I've always said is right-of-way is best learned by just getting out there and asking questions and paying attention as you drive with people. Ask your parents, friends, guardians, whoever, why did you let that person go? Why didn't you go? Just kind of go through all those questions in your head. Because just basically right away is determining who gets to go first. Always yield right away to emergency vehicles, to anybody that is blind or carrying a white cane, or pedestrians in general. Another thing it does say, and I like, is never assume that others will yield to you. I always tell my students kind of to always err on the side of caution. Always assume the negative, which is a horrible way to kind of go through life, is to always think the worst thing's going to happen. But in a driving situation, that's probably the best mindset to get into, is to think that they're going to do the opposite of what they should. If they're supposed to stop, assume they're not going to stop, so that you're just a little bit more cautious dealing with people and situations. Third section for this chapter deals with speed limits. Remember, the speed limits are the speed that you should go under the best conditions. So I've always talked about this in my class. You can get a ticket for going the speed limit. And basically what that means is if there is a snowstorm pounding down, you should probably not be going 55 into 55. It's called going too fast for the conditions. So understand that with speed limits. Fixed speed limit is one that doesn't change. Advisory speed limit is advising you that, at this curve you should probably slow down, things like that. Some basic speed laws. The higher the speed, the less time the driver has to spot dangerous situations and take action. The greater the time and distance it takes to change direction, the greater the chance the vehicle will skid or roll over, and the greater the chances of collision causing personal injuries and property damage. Then it goes right into section 4, where it talks about driver condition laws. It talks about illegal per se law, which is .08 in most states. Implied consent, meaning by getting your license you agree to certain testing. By refusing this testing, you will automatically lose your license. What aggressive driving is, it's driving in a threatening manner. The one thing I usually say when I talk about aggressive driving is anytime you do aggressive driving, you're increasing the risk of everybody around you. And they give some examples of inappropriate speed, tailgating, failure to stay in the right lane, frequent and unsafe lane changes, and passing on the shoulder. When does something become reckless? People always ask me if I get in an accident in the car and I kill somebody, am I in trouble? And I was like, well, it all depends. It depends on what the situation is. If you're going 60 in a 55 and you get in an accident, you hurt somebody, kill somebody, you're probably not going to jail. Because by going slightly over the speed limit, you're not putting everybody at this great amount of risk. Fast forward that same scenario to if you're going 95 in a 55, by going 40 miles an hour over, you know that you're increasing the risk to everybody around you. So therefore, if you get in an accident at that speed, you will be charged with vehicular homicide, reckless driving, all the things that you can be charged with. So you have to understand that. Distracted driving is more than just your cell phones. The cell phones have a lot to do with it. But remember, it's CDs, radios, food, anything you're doing that is taking your mind off driving is a distraction. And that is a short run through chapter 2.